Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Siska. I want to present about Indonesia Vision for International Order. Talking about Indonesia is an archipelago country which consists entirely of islands and includes large and small islands which form one territorial, political, economic, socio-cultural, and historical unit whose territorial boundaries are drawn from the archipelago's baseline. Thus, Indonesia a country in the Asia-Pacific region. Since the Cold War, Indonesia has consistently engage with the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC, transformer ASEAN, and become a well-known promoter of human rights and democracy in the region. This active engagement illustrates its aspirations to maintain regional stability and peace and play a constructive role in international institutions. The next, vision for the global order. Indonesia envisions a global order that defends the right of small and middle power to freely determine their action without external interference, as originally outlined by Indonesia's first Vice President Muhammad Hatta in the 1950. 1950. Indonesia's vision for a peaceful international order has three key elements. First, all states must be respected as sovereign and fully independent. Secondly, all states must be equal under international law. Finally, states shall be able to peacefully resolve conflicts through multilateral and international cooperation. Strong regional and global institutes are three, four crucial. And the next, how has Indonesia foreign policy changed under the presidency of Joko Widodo? There has been two major shifts in Indonesia foreign policy. The first is priorities. Former President Yudhoyono foreign policy priorities were to strengthen Indonesia's democracy and restore its standing in the international institute. To do so, Widodo seeks a foreign policy that drives Indonesia's ambitious development projects, including capital relocation, infrastructure development, and connectivity projects. Especially in eastern Indonesia, his foreign policy has focused more on democracy potential benefits for economic development. The second chance relates to engagement with great power, multicultural China and the US. Under Yudhoyono, Indonesia engaged more closely with the US and other members of the liberal international order. President Widodo meanwhile takes a critical stance towards the US and criticizes the failure of Western countries to reduce global inequalities and deliver development to the global south. Widodo has also strengthened international cooperation with countries outside the liberal international order, such as China, to obtain more economic benefits. And the next, two other ASEAN states support Indonesia democracy vision for the global order. Fellow ASEAN member states have supported Indonesia's various initiatives to project democracy, multicultural within ASEAN itself. Indonesia played an instrumental role in crafting the ASEAN Charter and including democracy and human rights as key principles within it. Indonesia also led the establishment of the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, which promotes human rights protection in the region and is currently leading effort to restore democracy in Myanmar through the five-point consensus. For Indonesia regional engagement manages to articulate ideas of democracy and human rights without interfering in the sovereignty of other countries. And next, what is the biggest challenge Indonesia faces in international politics? Its biggest challenge is the increasing geopolitical tension between the US and China. This tension has led to increasing dissension among ASEAN member states on several key regional issues. For example, ASEAN does not have a unified stand on the AUKUS or the South China Sea dispute, which could threaten its credibility outside the region. While historically various Indonesian governments have adhered to the principle of non-alignment to navigate geopolitical tension, especially during the Cold War, Indonesia now emphasizes the centrality of ASEAN and multilateral institutions such as the G20 and the UN to navigate trade power competition as witnessed during last year's G20 summit. Indonesia provided an avenue for US and China leaders to meet and opportunities to mediate their rivalry. This is a strategic role for Indonesia to play as an ASEAN middle power without necessarily aligning itself with either side. A common misconception about Indonesia place in global politics. Experts often view Indonesia simply through the lens of great power politics. For example, Indonesia's increasing engagement with China is often narrowly viewed as a sign of their close relationship. This view fails to account for Indonesia's conception of international order, its long-standing principle of having an independent and active foreign policy and commitment to multilateralism. Indonesia shows us that while middle power may not hold as much military and economic powers as a great power, they can influence global politics through other compelling means. And the next, how do you envision Indonesia's global role in the future? Will its success is achieving greater international representation for non-Western middle powers? Indonesia could play a greater global role in the future, but this depends on how its future leaders set its foreign policy. Widodo will step down in 2024 and Indonesia will not for a new president. The new president will need to navigate increasing intense in the Indonesia-Pacific region and maintain regional order. There are also non-traditional security challenges like climate change, energy security, and global health issues. Talking these challenges include not only leadership but also creative foreign policy strategies. Indonesia can leverage its regional credibility and resources to persuade opposing forces in Myanmar to halt these talks. I think Indonesia's task in achieving great international representation for non-Western middle power will depend on what issue it raises and how it engages with other countries. Beyond South Asia, Indonesia needs to deepen engagement with other small and middle power by establishing common groups in international institutions, particularly the UN. One example is Indonesia's active campaigns to anticipate and prepare for future global health crises. That's the content of my present set this time. I hope what I say can be useful for all of us. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.